Hey, welcome back. We are in part 2 of these pages. I've got a picture of our book, and I did find out after looking at the video that it doesn't look backwards on the video. It's just mirrored in my camera. So I want you to look at page 284. We're going to go over page 284 and 285. These are the actual pages I tore out, and I'm going to figure out how to link the textbook. Until I do, all I could do is scan it. So, unpacking the thinking process. Anytime that you read something, you have to determine what is the purpose for my reading. And so, is it just to enjoy something? Am I trying to find out information? So at the top of page 284, if you look at the top, it says unpack the thinking process. Let's take a closer look at how we knew what was important in that article, because the author uses text features and they're listed. So I want you to look at the page. Excuse me. There are headlines, a title. He had a picture, a photo. There was some information in a graph. And then there were those headings. I talked about the headings, paragraphs, and every paragraph will have one main idea. And then sometimes they'll display a quote, something somebody said, something that they thought was important. So when you are going to read a nonfiction article, you use those text features to get out your reading hooks. Remember, we talked about that. So before reading, you just scan that. Look at the headings and read them. Look at the graphics. Start thinking, what do I think this is about? I wonder. There's a lot of good that comes to through those I wonder statements. Well, I wonder what this is about. I wonder if everything was okay. I wonder if that guy got hurt. I wonder. So you scan the headings and graphics for the idea and use that information to set your purpose for reading. Anything that you say, I wonder, while you're reading, you try to figure out what that answer was. While you're reading, it says during the reading, turn every header into a question. That's interesting. So if I go back and I look at the header and it says seesaw battle, I think, did things go up and down? It was a game. Did the score go up and down? And then I see disaster strikes. I would say, what disaster happened? What happened? Something happened. Too dangerous. What's dangerous? I let myself ask questions. Then after reading, in your mind, you review those key ideas. You can scan it again and skim that text. And then in your mind, you can summarize. And I'm just paraphrasing what's in each thing on page 284. What the most important information was. And notice the author uses those features to develop ideas and draw connections between sections of the text. So down below on 284, at the very bottom, our academic vocabulary. These are things that we need as we go through our school life. These are things we're going to learn. One is to summarize. And to summarize is when you tell the short version. Somebody comes up and starts telling me this long story and they have lots of details. I'm like, what's the short version? What's it about and what happened? So to summarize is always tell the short version. Tell the short version. The summary is that short statement. So if you go to the top of page 285, this is what your page 285 looks like. I changed the lighting in here just a little bit. I don't know if it's better or worse. But you have this page in what I scanned. At the top it says writers not only use those text features to tell you what's important, but they organize their ideas in a certain way. For example, in biographies and autobiographies, do you know what a biography is? Can you guess? Biography and autobiography. I always want to give you some thinking time, because if I ask a question and then I tell the answer real fast, you stop thinking. So I want you to think about that just for a second. A biography and an autobiography. Do you know what that means? I can hear the Jeopardy music. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, a biography. I bet at least one of you said it's the story of a person's life. That's correct. An autobiography is when I tell my own story. I write it. I tell you about my life. So writers often organize information in time or chronological order. It's a long word, chronological. 5 big syllables. That means what happened first, next, and it's in time order. So we're about to read a demo text, another example on this page. It says the demo text also does this with one exception. In news articles, the most important event is first, and then it's followed by events that lead up to it. So look at this article, read this brief article. So when I read to you, I really want you to have your eyes on the words, or it's not reading, it's just listening. Demo text 2. When Nikki Kubitschek was a kid, she loved to watch her older sister play for the Park Valley softball team. 4 years ago, Kubitschek joined the team herself. She has become one of the best hitters in the team's history. The 5'2" powerhouse has set 9 school records, including the most runs batted in during a tournament, the highest season batting average, and the most stolen bases in a tournament, which was 6. Last week, Kubitschek was named the team's player of the year for the 2nd time. At the award dinner on Saturday night, Kubitschek basked in compliments. That means she sat back and just enjoyed it. She gives all she has in every game, Coach Santos said. Many great players have played for this team, Kubitschek said. It's a great feeling to be among them. So, what might be a headline for this article? Number 2 says, consider how these ideas are developed and determine where the break in text would be to make a logical selection. Talking about creating a heading for each section. Maybe there's a display quote. What quote do you think would have been the most important quote? And then maybe sketch an information graph or photo. Now, we will be discussing that in class. There's not anything for you to do except think about that. I'm not going to have you do that, turn it in. This is just going through the text and the information. So then debrief, you could look at your ideas with somebody else, okay? So the element of literature underneath says chronological, that big 5, chronological.